These are done. Put them aside. Oh, hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream and another chapter. Working on that guy right there. That happens to be an F-35A Lightning II by Tamiya. It's a 1/48 scale model kit, and we're working on that. We're going to run the intro, and we'll see what's next. Okay guys, we're back and we're going to continue on the build. As you might see on my desk here, I've been doing a little bit of preparation painting. Painting up my AIM-120 AMRAAMs and my bombs. Just getting these prepared for when we get to that stage, right? Just doing a little painting on those. Put those aside because we're not using those today. We got other things to do today, okay? So I just got to put away a couple of things here, and we can get to it. So last time we were working on our bottom fuselage and got our pieces put in on that, and we got our engine assembled, and we got our weapons bay all completed, and that's all done. Yay, it's all finished and nicely detailed, and it looks fantastic, and that's really this is the jewel of this kit, really, is the weapons bay on this thing, because it's probably the most detailed weapons bay I've seen in a Tamiya kit. And even when I compare to like my big 1/32nd scale F-15 or the 1/32nd scale F-4 Phantoms that I've built, yeah, this is really fantastic and realistic looking. So yeah, modern tooling, how about it, eh? What about it? So let's see what's next on this little instruction booklet and see what we were doing. So let's change the camera and let's have a look. Let's see here. All right, so last time we finished up step 14. I put 1/2 of the stuff on this for you guys, and I finished up the rest last time, right? A couple of little pieces like, you know, F-41 going on here, F-31 going into this spot here. You guys see that there? This guy here and this guy here. This is one piece. A couple of other pieces like this guy here and that thing. We flip over to this side, and we had another one here, and yeah, we've got our two walls that are in there and pieces like that. This one, you have to be mindful. You're going to put this guy in first. See where my finger's pointing? Let me get my tweezers here. You have to pay attention on the instructions. Okay, between this wall and this piece here, I tried to put this piece in here first. I figured that would be easier because it goes between the two walls. I thought it would be easier, right? Because when you do it like this, now it's a little bit tight. It's a little bit tight to get that in there. But they've actually designed it so that you put this wall in first, and then this guy, he just slides in there nice and easily, even though the wall's in there. So yeah, that was, thanks to Mia. That was a good job. And then just the last little bits, putting C11 on this side, which I have, and I painted it chrome. And then this guy here, F-48, you put this guy in first, and then you put this guy, or this guy on top, right? This guy first, F-48, and then F-41 on top. Otherwise they're not really gonna, you're gonna have a hard time. If you put this guy on first and then put him second, you're gonna have a hard time. Anyway, so that's all done. And then of course we got a couple little decals. There's not a lot, but I got them on there. Got the decals there and the decals there. It's all done. Okay. And then last time we put our engine in. Okay. So now today we're going to continue with this. We got to get our two C7s and put them in here on each side of our weapon bay. Let's get my things out here. Two of the C7s. Let's grab this. Grab our C tree. Here we are. I have them painted on each one. I've got it already pre-painted. You can see right there. A little white, a little yellow, a little red. Okay. Let's click this off of here. There's one. Let's grab the second one. Okay. So with these two guys, they're going to go on the underside. Which way does this go? It's like he goes like this. They go. There's a little, kind of a little indent right here. You guys see that? That little spot right there. And it looks like it just sits down in there. Okay, so we got a flat spot on here. So he just kind of sits there. Just kind of sits there like that. Okay, let's get some extra thin here. Put a little dab on there. Put him in place. Okay. And just a little more for added security, and that's how he goes. Sitting like that. So, assuming they got the same, yep, got the same little spot on this side. Go. A little extra glue to make sure he's going to stay there. And then we got that side. Okay, so now we got some color on my kit. There and there. Okay, that's it. That's it for this. They show you your colors here. And so now we're going to put our weapons bay into our fuselage. So, got all my masking tape. So we've got these two little tabs. They're going to line up on these two little marks here and here. And then, of course, our big holes go on these big tabs here and here. And then our front holes here and here, they go onto these two little tabs like that. So we can do a test fit. I've already had this on here. That's how I know exactly where this all lines up. And it just kind of drops in like that. And of course, everything all lines up. So we just need to now put some glue on here, and we can have this all sandwiched together. So I'm not going to use this stuff just right yet. I'm going to use this glue because I can put it on here and it's not, I can kind of slather it in spots and it's going to be good. Because it will hold. This stuff, this glue that to me is thicker glue, I find is really good glue in doing stuff like this because it doesn't dry immediately. But once you kind of have your pieces in place, it doesn't like to move around. That's the one thing I've noticed with this glue. I do want to apply a little bit of pressure, so if I can get some clamps on this to get this lined up nicely, then I'm going to do that. Let's see here. We can get you to be maybe like this. It's kind of tricky to get it where it's not just going right through the gaping hole. Let's try this. That's great for that spot. Could even do that more in the middle there. Okay, so that's great for the front. What about the back? I don't need a whole crazy amount of clamping force, but I do need something that's going to clamp and hold it. That's the main thing. So with it being like this, I'm going to just kind of hold these together with my fingers, and I'm going to get this glued on each side like that. Where we've got contact onto our walls. And even back here. Anywhere I think we can benefit from some extra gluing. There's even a little tab in the center here that I didn't notice until just right now. There's one right there, right where my tweezers are pointing. Right there. I didn't even notice that one until just now. So let's make sure she's got glue on her. It's probably way more glue than I need, but I would rather have more glue than I need than not enough and have it come apart on me later on. You know what I mean? I don't want this coming apart on me inadvertently. It is a little unfortunate I didn't even think about putting glue along the center here. I could have done that, and then that would have a nice good, you know, contact gluing there too. But I didn't, so it's where I am at. That's the way it is. Just making sure I didn't accidentally get any tape in between something here. I don't want tape in between the two. That would be just wrong. If I could, I'd like to, you know, put some kind of a rubber band or something around this just to keep it squeezed together. But let's try letting go and see what it does. I think it might be okay. Looks like it's all right. She's holding. Now, it's not like it really wanted to come apart, but I just noticed it was a little bit floppy, so I want to keep it good. Okay, so that's step 15 done. Step 16 involves using A69 and putting A68 and 70 together on it, okay? So that's this. And I've already done that. I preemptively put these pieces on here. All they do is they just go down on here, just like that. It's pretty easy to line them up. They fit perfectly. There's no problem. You're not going to have any issues gluing these down, okay? So I glued those down on there already, and I've already pre-painted this part so that we're prepared for when that's time to install that, which I think is going to be next. Okay, I show you the color callouts and everything. Now, I mentioned this before. Tamiya only mentions painting the XF3, the yellow, onto this one, and they don't point to every other one. And normally on the other parts, they show, like, if you go back to this one, they show like X11 going to this and this and this and this and this, every little line, right? And so, taking that into consideration, they only show the yellow going to this one and not these others. So I didn't paint these other ones. I left them white. Now, whether or not that is accurate, if that's what you're supposed to do, I don't know. But that's what I did. And so I've only got a couple that are yellow. I haven't got them all yellow. Most of them are white. There's only a few that are yellow. Okay. And so I just copying that, what they instructed me to do. And that's what I done. Same with this here. With this one, they only do this one, they skip the middle one, and you go to this one, right? Doing the XF3. So that's what I've done. Flip. We're going to put this down over top of it all. Okay. Which means I'm going to have to move my clamps because this is going to go in, I believe, our 4 holes here, 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 and here. I'm going to line up here, and here, and here, and here. It's like that, which means I got to move my clamps out of the way. So, bing, I think they've held enough. Let's do a little test fit here. Oh, it just lays down perfect. It lays down perfectly. Okay. And because of the way that's lying down, I will be able to get clamps on it. It just lines up perfect. This whole kit is just, everything lines up perfectly. I'm so impressed with this kit. So I can put a clamp on there, on that wing, and have it hold nicely. Same with you on that wing. Perfect. I could even do here if I wanted to, but I don't need to. Oh, it even lines up nicely. It's got little guide lines right here where this framing is, in there. It all just, it's so like, wow. This kit is wow. You know, this kit was sitting on my shelf for a good year, and I'm really regretting not building this earlier. I should have built this kit a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't. Just everything, it just lines up perfectly everywhere on this thing. Yeah, okay. So there we go, that's done. That is that part. This part's done. The second part, putting our two fuselage halves together. That's a big step for me. That's always a big step for me, is putting our two halves together. So I'm gonna have to have a sip of my pop, and I actually want to let this, I want to let this dry, you know, at least for a minute. I don't want to just be so rushing into assembly like this. But you know, if we're there and we're ready, then I guess we're ready. If we're ready, then we're ready. Okay, let's grab the top half. And we'll see how this lines up. Obviously, it doesn't look like I've got any pegs for the engine. We've got little indents for the engine, those posts. And we've just got all the little pegs everywhere around the plane. It just kind of drops on without any interference from anything. Like, really? Really? It's that simple? It's that simple. Well, what's not simple is pulling this back off. There we go. Yeah, it's that simple. Like, holy crap. All right. I'll take a little bit of this glue, and I will put it in a couple of spots that it appears to be touching on the inside where I'm not going to be able to access after. See, they have these pegs, but I don't see their individual, like where they'd be lining up on the inside. What they're touching. It looks like they just kind of go in beside here or something, it might benefit me to put a little glue on both of these, and wherever they're touching on here, maybe they'll touch. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. It seems wide enough, it's not in here. It's definitely out here. But why they've done this, oh, these are for the landing gear, to give you some structure to install your landing gear. That's what that's all about. Anyway, there's some spots along here. I think we've got some contact. It's going to be a little bit hard to get at later. I think that's about it. Okay, and then these 4 spots. Again, I don't know if these are actually touching anything, but if they are, we're going to make sure. Okay. Oh, we've got 2 pegs going into 2 holes here. Bing, 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 bing. Okay. Clamps because. Not that they're needed, but they are. Okay. I'm going to want clamps there. I'm going to want a clamp here. And we're going to want a clamp here. And we're going to want a rubber band around the nose cone. Let's grab one of those. Actually, I don't need it around the nose cone. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I said nose cone, because this nose cone is a totally different piece. It's already connected, so that's useless. So we need to apply some extra thin around the whole thing. So the main piece I see is this guy under here needs some extra love. Okay, and then our little corners here, our intake corners. We definitely don't want those being separate. That could use a little clamp. Hold that for a minute. We got to kind of work our way around this whole thing. And sorry if that was just off camera. I'm trying to hold this, put a little pressure on this to keep this held until the glue really takes. So I am trying to do this on camera so you can see what I'm doing. I think this wing needs another clamp here. Yes. So in a sense, as much as this kit goes together really nicely, to get rid of all of our seams is a bit of work here. As you can tell by the amount of clamps I've got on this thing. Now the nice thing is, Tamiya glue does work pretty quickly, so that's not too much of an issue. It's just making sure every seam is glued nicely and it's going to hold. It's going to stay together. This one I'll hold with my hand. Add a little pressure, hold that. Might be able to let this one go and kind of swap, move them around a little bit. And I can even swap out some clamps, like move this one off, glue this, and then squeeze together, put him there. And this is exactly why I was kind of, you guys heard me mention before that I might have to actually do some painting on the fuselage before assembly. Well, the amount of glue required to make sure this thing stays together everywhere is why I was dreading the thought of having to do that. Even just around the wings tips. I want to make sure my wingtips stay nice and tight. There's not much we can do about this except literally just hold it by hand. Hold this by hand for a minute or so until it's convinced. Just because of the angle of it and everything, any kind of a clamp is just going to slide off. But of course, human hands are really great for this kind of thing. Just hold this for a minute. This side's nice, nicely holding together. Everything is looking pretty good so far. I can probably start to remove some of these clamps. This one I got to relocate here. She didn't really hold here. So right on the edge. It'd be like that sometimes, you know? Back end's looking good. Nice and solid, nice and snug. I think I can let go of that one now. No gaps. That's good. Good. And now you're getting a good idea of the size of this kit, right? Getting a better idea of the size of this plane. It's not bad. Okay, let's let this just sit for a minute here. This over here and put a couple of clamps away. All right, I'll let that sit for a minute. Okay, while this is drying together, let's see what's next here. We've got a couple of, we're calling the weapons bay side panels, which is kind of strange. Like, do these just cover it up? I'm not sure. Let's find our pieces. G7 and G4. So let's find those. And then we've got a couple of callouts of things they want. The edges white, which already they're white, but that's fine. And then they want decals put on, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's have a look at these. G7 and G4. Let's find our G tree here. That's our C. That's F. A, E. G. A couple of really big panels here. Here's number 7. Okay, and number 4. There's not really a lot left on this sprue, so I'm just going to quickly trim this off like this. Just keeping what I need. There we go. Okay. Get thrown away later. Okay, so G7 and G4, we have to clean up our little nubs on here. Keep in mind, this is not 90 degrees. It's not perpendicular. Is it perpendicular? That means 90 degrees. So you gotta be mindful of that when you're cleaning up your nubs. I guess these are just panels that cover, and then maybe my masking is going to be, I might have to remove some of my masking tape off of that when I put these on. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so I should be able, this should be long enough that I can remove these. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so we got not this guy, we got this guy. G4 is supposed to go like this. So I did a lot of masking for nothing on there. So this, all my masking has to be taken off. It's a little unfortunate. this guy, oh, he goes all the way to here. Okay. Okay. And he even goes up into that. I put this little tiny piece right here, and it's not necessary. So it goes on like this. And fits in there. So even my little bit of tape I've got here is going to be useless. I got a big piece I put up there. Oh well, I'll have to redo that one. It goes in like that. Just like that. So obviously I'm going to have to add a little strip of masking tape there, and I'll have to redo this. The rest of it's going to be fine. I think what I kind of want to do, because I did do both sides, I wasn't sure what's going to be showing. So that's why I did paint both sides, but this side I didn't do quite as bright, but that's okay. And I think that's fine. I think it'll be okay like that. All right, so let's get some glue on. There's that piece there that it was connecting to. And just connect all along inside here so we can do a little bit of glue on the inside too. Give it a little push to make sure it's a nice flush fit, which it is. To me, sculpting on this is really top notch. I will say that much for sure. Remove my excess masking tape here. And up here too. Yeah, it goes all the way here. This is the piece I'm going to have to redo on this side. All the way along here. Well, I'll know for the next one I have to build, right? There we go. And yeah, it's just, again, perfect fit by Tamiya. Thank you very much. So far, I've got absolutely nothing to complain about with this kit. The level of detail, how everything fits together so perfectly is just top-notch Tamiya. Top-notch Tamiya. Fantastic. It really is. Just pushing on it just to make sure it holds, because I want it flush. There we go. So that's in too. Okay. Now, obviously, putting decals on this now would be a stupid thing. I don't want to put the decals on, though it's going to come later on. And it looks like the decals are going to go right along our little edge here, right along this edge. but that's going to be later. That's after painting. Step 18 is done. So flip. Next, the engine nozzle or exhaust nozzle. We can put our fuselage aside and focus on our engine. Put all this masking tape away. The engine requires a bit of painting, okay? And what it requires is some LP59 and LP61, 2 parts 59 to 1 part 61. You guys saw me paint this last time. I painted that ring, right? I also painted the D2s. I painted the D2s that color, okay? And that is this color here, okay? That's that right there. It's kind of a, I'd say it's a metallic-y brown is what they've turns it into. But then on the very tips, they want LP34 and 61, 1 to 1. And that's a metallic gray and a light gray. I'll show you the colors here. LP61, okay, of course, is our metallic gray. Okay, so you can use any equivalent. It's basically just it's a bit of a darker gunmetal color, really. Okay, but then you mix it 1 to 1 with the LP34 light gray. So it really lightens it up and it turns it into that little color you see on the very tip here. See a little tip? The tips of those things? That changes it into a little kind of a lighter metallic gray. That's really all it is. What I haven't shown you is how you assemble these. I've already done this to 4 of them. Okay, but I'm not done with these yet. I need to add some panel liner. And why do I need to add the panel liner? Well, you guys remember the inside of my engine? How I did that panel liner in there to create that dark, dirty streaks? I gotta continue that all the way to the tips of the nozzles. So on the inside of this, I've painted that same white. See it in there? It's that same whitish color. These guys are going to go around the perimeter like this. They got holes in them in the bottom here, and they just slide down over top like this. Doink. Like, to me, I could not have made this any easier for you in the assembly. Maybe they could have. That doesn't want to go down on there. Now it does. It looks like they kind of have to go in union a little bit. Yeah, because if I just put one on and try and slide one down beside it, it doesn't want to slide down. So they're all going to have to kind of be happy and slide down together. As one. Of course, the temptation is to go bang and force them all down. Because they kind of interlock and then they don't go down all the way. But a little pressure. It's hard to push down on these points because it hurts your fingers. But I can tip it upside down and give it a little pressure. Maybe with a little glue on there too, that might help. Okay, yeah, because they really stick down in there. Okay, but anyway, I need a 5th one. There's 5, and I've only got 4. So I wanted to do 4 of the 5, and then show you guys how they go together. So I've got one final pair right here. You get 6 of them, right? They put 3 on each sprue. And of course we got 2 sprues, so you get a total of 6, but you only need 5. So I got 2 here left over. So let's get one off of here. Just that one. And we'll get one of these. I found it's a little easier to get my nipper lined up here like this. There we go. Clean up our edges. Like so. And these ones too. Okay. And now this, your 2 little pegs here, they line up with your 2 little notches here, like this. And then your little points, they just kind of line up and go in right there. And they line up like that. You guys see that? They just kind of line up like this. And that's it. And then you just hold it there and you can apply some glue. Put a little glue back here, here. And then what I did for the front is I just went in a little bit under with my brush like this. Same thing here, just kind of sweep under like that. And that's it. And that one's done. So now I've got 5. So now let's see how well these go together. If I put a little glue on our tabs, maybe they'll slide down a little bit easier. Now my fresh one, let's do this and this. Let's go bing, let's go around, bing, 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 bing. Let's glue them all, glue on each one. I don't think I need a lot of glue, but you never know. Okay, I'll start with my fresh one I just glued. Slides down nice. Now let's see. Because the glue always acts like a lubricant, right? But because these lock in, it doesn't really. And to me, as tolerances on these, it's really tight. So they're not really. Okay, they're kind of locked in. There we go. There we go. Now we'll just push. All right, yeah, the glue helped because that's now I got no gap. I don't have any gap on any of them. They're all nicely locked down. Perfect. Perfect. And there's my nozzle. Just like that. Nice. Now, as I said about the panel liner, we got to get our dirtiness going here. That's right. Get her dirty. There we go. It's nice and dirty on the inside now. It's like a dirty bird. Like the dirty bird she is. We're going to give that a minute to dry a little bit. Because if you do it while it's wet, the effect is not as good. I only have a few minutes left. With the few minutes left that I have, I wanted to go and look at the next step Now they would have me install it, but we're not ready to install yet. There's also decals that need to go on each side, and we're not ready for those. So, step 20. Step 20 is main landing gear parts. We're going to put a few pieces onto this guy, and then I got to get going, okay? So the wheels are going to be simple. You're going to put your two halves of the wheels together, A57 and C12, okay? Here's your C12. That's one of your C12s. And then you want A57. There's your two halves of your main wheel. Okay. This is going to be fairly simple. This only goes one way. They've got a little notch. And of course, I have my nub to clean up. Got to clean your nubs. If you don't clean the nubs, the tires won't fit together properly. So make sure you clean your nubs. Okay, so they've got two slots for this to fit in. It only goes, it's not going to line up if you don't have those slots lined up. And I have a feeling, even with the slots, there's going to be only one, yeah, there's only one spot that they line up and they'll go together. So we'll run some glue around there, let that run inside. So there's how you do a tire. I'll do the other tire off camera, okay? We'll do that off camera. And I'll also paint it off camera. Next. Everything off our A sprue. So, oh, except for this. We want E9. Where's my E tree? Here we go. E9. Which one is 9? This guy. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put these together. I'll put this one together, put these parts on, and then I got to get going. We're going to do that too, okay? But I'm going to have to get going. I'll get this assembled, and then we'll get going, okay? So I need A2. A2, where are you? A2. Right there. And I need A3. Looks like A2 and 3 complement each other. There's 3. So this is 2, that's 3. Then I'm going to need A5 and A7. Here's 5. And then 7. 7. So 2, 3, 5, and 7. We'll get those together. And I'm also going to need A31. I might as well get that off of here too. This guy right here. All right, there we go. So that's all the parts we're going to need. Now, we also need a decal, number 308, but I've already applied the decal on there. Decal 308 is already there, okay? So, this guy's there. We need to put him in kind of in the orientation of the picture. A2 is this guy here, and he is going to go on this side like this, okay? He's going to sit like this. Now, if you didn't do a good job with your nubs and you have them taken off, he's not going to sit in there properly, right? He's not going to sit in his little home nicely. But if you did a good job, it'll be a nice snug fit, and he'll be happy to go to his home. Just like that. Okay. So there's A2 in his home. just like that. So then A5 is going to be going in the same direction, but he's got a little peg. Sorry, that's not A5, that's A3. A3 has a little hole in him to fit onto that peg, so that way you don't get mixed up on which side you need to put them on. Go like this, put a bunch of glue in there. Not quite enough, so let's just make sure. Then if I can grab onto it properly before the glue dries. There we go. He's almost in his home. There, he's in his home. Just like that. So A2 and A3 are in their spots. Okay. Now A5 and A7. A5 and A7, they're going to line up with these two little notches here and here. Okay. And they're going to come together. They're going to go like this. They're going to be in that kind of a position together. So A7, of course, has the little notch on the little hole in the top of them. So you know that's A7. A5 is going to go this. He's got a little nub on the tip of him here, and they show in the picture that nub is facing down. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue in that hole there. And then he goes in like that. He's actually going to be angled up just a little bit. So he sits in that position, A5. You see how that's angled up just a little bit? I gotta make sure I'm not wrecking anything else on here. See how he's angled upwards? Just like that. Okay. Now A7 is going to go into this slot, and he's going to be angled down just a little bit. And at the same time, he's going to contact A5 at the tip. They're going to line up. Your A7 and your A5 should line up and make contact at their very tips. And just to make sure, I'm actually going to put a little glue on them, on their tips. There we go. Okay. A5 and A7 are connected just like that. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't care about stream glue. Now, we've got our little shock needs to go on there, A31. And he's going to go on. Let's see which way they have it here. Two little holes, here and here. But that doesn't look right because he's got a great big block. But it actually is. He's got a little pin sticking out there and a little pin sticking out there. So he's going to go on right there like that. But before I install him, I need to paint his the little rod. That needs to be chrome. So I'm just going to grab my chrome pen here. Seems to be par for the course. I've been using my chrome pen on this kit more than any other kit I've used. My chrome pen has been sitting here for so long. Actually, is it supposed to be? Yes, it is supposed to be. Not every little ram is on this is supposed to be chrome. So it becomes kind of tempting to paint every little thing that looks like a shock chrome. but not absolutely everything is chrome. Now I mentioned before these chrome pens and stuff like that, it's ink, and so it doesn't really harden. So even if I wait until tomorrow, if I touch that chrome, it's going to turn to a dull silver color, and nobody likes that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So let's put that down. Let's get glue in that hole and in that hole. And let's grab this here, that, and line this up. There we go. Press just to make sure, and there we go. So there's our little landing gear, main landing gear strut. Okay, that's step number 20. Obviously, the next thing to do, put the wheel on. It's going to sit like that. Okay, and that'll be that. But I got to paint that first. This needs paint. Okay, so we can leave this, put this aside, and call that one done. All right. So, with that being said, that's where I need to leave it for today. Off camera, I'm going to paint my tire. I'm going to assemble the other tire, and I will assemble the other main strut and get that done. Get those ready, and then next time we can get those installed, okay? In the meantime, we've got to do a little cleanup on my engine nozzle. You guys saw me use the Q-tip thing on the engine itself. I'm going to do that same thing on the nozzle here. We'll get that all cleaned up. So I want to thank you guys. Thank you again for all the support and the new subscribers. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. I did not notice. Last time I did mention something, I have 1,130, and I looked at my YouTube and it's like actually 1,330. Like, blow my mind away. I got over 1,300 subscribers. Like, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Don't forget, down in the description box are links to my Instagram and my Twitch channel where you can watch me live if you so feel like it. And of course, my Instagram, you see all the pictures of everything I've built in the past, if you feel like it. But please, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Leave a comment down below, please. I love to read your comments, guys. Anyway, we'll see you all in the next one.